Hello. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It's nice and cool today, so I've been in the house most of the day on my computer organizing gardening classes. I love to garden and I love to take videos of my garden. So I'm gonna see if I can make a little bit of money at it. Just charging $5 for an hour-long class, and I'm just gonna teach what I've learned. A lot of what I've learned was from my mom, my great grandpa Frenchy, who was Native American, French Canadian Indian, and he taught us, like the three sisters, the corn and the squash and the green beans, and burying fish guts and fish heads under the corn, and just like using a natural creek and making troughs for irrigation. So I'm going to show you what I taught yesterday to a little group of homeschool kids. So right next to me is a bunch of mulch. This is like wood chips. And so back here is a raised bed. It's one of those container gardens, grow bags. And I had a grow bag because I went on Temu and went crazy only one time. I haven't gone on Temu since. So I had this grow bag, and I'm teaching about 10 kids about permaculture and food forests and biointensive gardening, just like everything. So I taught them how to mix up the soil. I bought some amendments, some compost and garden soil and manure. And so we mixed all that in to the raised bed, and then I gave everyone a sweet potato because I've been growing sweet potatoes for about 3 years here on the property. I've lived here for 3 years, 3 years and 2 months. And so when we bought the house, there was nothing here but grass. So as I walk around the yard, you'll see there's a lot more gardens than there is grass now, because I can't stop planting stuff and propagating and just getting more wood chips for free and just making more gardens. So in the grow bag is sweet potatoes, and I'm going to show the kids how to make their own slips, and then they can take all their slips home and start their own garden, their own sweet potato bed at their house. So every week we're going to have a different topic, a different subject. The first week I gave everyone a tour of the garden. So everything's starting to leaf out. This is Vitex. Also known as the chase tree. I haven't used it medicinally for anything yet. It was just kind of like the prettiest thing I could buy that I could afford at the time. Just trying to make it look pretty. It's got little purple lavender flowers. So it's not fragrant like lilac in Michigan, but it's real pretty. I did plant several new avocado trees. This one's doing good. One is totally brown, so the frost got it. And a couple have like little flowers, like they're gonna fruit. So that's always fun. Let's see. This garden over here, I just made. So you can see it all along. Not very well. It really blends in. So right behind me, this whole length, you see different shades of brown. That garden I just made this winter, and in it I buried turmeric and ginger, different types of turmeric and different types of ginger. And I also scattered seeds, but the birds have eaten most of the seeds. So, and I've also started so many cuttings of elderberries and mulberries, and I put a bunch of mulberries. I didn't mean to say elderberries, mulberries. So I put a bunch of little baby mulberry trees in here that I had started. I'm going to turn this around, maybe you can see it. So right here is a little tiny baby mulberry. And there's a couple over here, kind of in the back of this garden. And I stole a bunch of dirt from an existing garden. And so most of what is green in here is kind of like a ground cover. And I don't know if I'm going to regret letting it live. I think it's Artemisia. I don't know any medicinal benefits from it, but it seems pretty happy. And it seems like it was in all the soil that I transplanted. There's some seeds that the birds didn't eat. And there's one little lone sunflower. I had so many sunflowers, but the birds have been ravaging all the seedlings that I planted. So here's a swimming pool full of really rare gingers and turmerics that I got from Andy Firk. Ooh, and it rained, and I've got a bunch of rain in this. I gotta dump that out. See, that's why it's good to walk around your garden every day if you can. There's no holes in the bottom of that, so it filled up with rainwater. It'll be okay because it just rained today and yesterday. This is Tina's garden. My friend Tina gave me most of these plants, although the little tree was there. That's like a native magnolia. And in front of the wood, that's just brush from our property, in the ground is some very special shampooed ginger from my friend Julie, who has passed away, gone on to be with the Lord about a year ago. And then this garden is more of the same. They're going to be attached. This will be like the longest garden in my property. And I have planted about every 2 feet a cassava and a chaya. And in the dark spots within the mulch, I added a bunch of compost mixed with potting soil and a bunch of seeds. So this will look totally different in a month from now. I can get the squirrels and the rabbits and the birds to stop eating my seeds. More turmeric and ginger are buried in here. And then yesterday I got my chainsaw out because lemongrass and citronella are really sharp. So I cut this down with a chainsaw. I came through my whole property. I probably have, I don't know, 50 or more citronellas and lemongrasses. And so I just chopped them all down with a chainsaw because it was too hard with clippers. And then I started spreading the citronella over this garden that's the birds have been eating all the seeds out of, in hopes that the citronella, it's like chop and drop. So the citronella will break down and decompose, but I think it's gonna like maybe protect some of the seedlings also. I'm hopeful. And that rain should bring out some mushrooms. I buried a bunch of mushroom blocks in this new garden. You can see a lot of new growth on the cassava and a little bit of new growth on the chaya. So the chaya and cassava are both originally from Cody Cove Nursery. Josh Jameson, love his YouTube videos. And then here is Look at Life. This is an apple banana that I got from Joe Pierce, Okanobe Joe. And here is Joe's favorite bamboo. And look, he didn't lose its leaves, Joe. Got a little bit of brown on them. And then here is Paul, Biochar Paul's favorite bamboo. It was looking alive. It had new growth before the last frost. So I don't know if it's going to live yet or not. And then this is Andy Firk's favorite bamboo. And same with it. It showed new growth and then we got a frost. So I don't know if it'll live or not. Over here in the corner, I have this tiny little chayote, and it showed growth, but something keeps eating the growth off of it. So we have rabbits, we have squirrels, we have birds. I don't know what's eating all of it. So I guess I will walk to the backyard and show you my greenhouse. So let me show you real quick these gardens. So that garden right there is the newest one, full of cassava and yucca and bamboo and banana and seeds that I had collected in ginger and turmeric. This next garden I made a year ago in the fall. And this has got just a lot of repeating things, but also some blackberries right here on the end. They're not very lush or, green. But I do have 2 blackberry plants over here. This one's even smaller. I think it got kind of buried and maybe run over. It's too close to the edge. And then this garden was my first garden that I ever made. I've made it way bigger than originally, but I looked at the land. So with permaculture, and I think I did this before I knew, that you need to observe your land. They will say even observe it up to a year. I didn't do that for a year, but I noticed, there's a natural slope from my house. And so most of my gardens are built kind of in swales. So they go downhill from the house and they're catching the rainwater. This was also a very green area of my yard. It's over the drain field, so I don't have anything with big, deep roots that are going to damage my drain field, but they are being fed by all that nutritious, composted, human manure, as we like to call it. All right, let's go in the backyard. Let's do up over the fence. So I am brand new at the microphone and selfie stick. So bear with me as I learn the tricks of the trade. This I planted way too thick. I just had a bunch of seeds that I had collected from last year, and I just scattered the seeds in these gardens. I've barely harvested anything out of them because I have so much in other gardens. But it's like a cover crop. And I will, feed it to the worms or the compost. So here's my greenhouse. I had a customer give me the greenhouse last year. And we will shut it up tonight and probably even put the heater on. Everything is really happy. I need to get my string out here and support everything. It's a mess. I am a very laid back person. And so you can see how laid back I am in my gardens. So I made these benches a couple months ago now, probably, and got everything planted. We have a bunch of seeds that are still waiting to germinate. Not super good germination with the basil down below. These seeds are 3 years old from Steph and Zeph. My daughter and her life partner, they're also very into gardening and permaculture and market gardens. So those seeds were all different basils from them. I've got a bunch of tomato seedlings. Not, very big yet. They're doing good. Then I've got a bunch of sweet potato slips that I made. And then this was my idea of doing a food forest 15-pack and starting seeds for that. So I have Canis acacia, roselle, pigeon pea, papayas are just starting to germinate, and then some rosemary. So I'm excited about everything that I'm growing. These were some tomato seeds that I harvested from a tomato that I grew. So that's kind of fun. I don't remember, the name, the type of the tomato, but I'll have to uppot them. They're getting kind of big to be that close together. I don't have very many peppers. These are the little peppers right there on the side. Some dill. Something I've never grown, fenugreek. And nothing's looking like great. I don't have any grow lights on anything. It's outdoors now. So they may or may not be getting enough sun. The tomatoes look great, really. There's a ripe one. It's one of those kind of purpley colors. But yeah, that's ready to be picked. And then I've got a tomato that I'm going to harvest the seeds from. It got a little bit rotten. So I'm going to take the seeds and plant him too. So this is one of my mom's favorite plants. Well, it's just beautiful. My mom loves all plants, actually. That's Persian Shield. So that one's not edible, but it is beautiful. So I kept some alive. I bought that probably 2 years ago, and we've kept it alive, I think 2 winters. And let's see. I have some rosemary that I propagated in here. have some of the Okinawa spinach we propagated and some longevity spinach. Just kept it all alive in the greenhouse. And we've got a nice big pile of wood chips to spread. And another pile of wood chips on the other side of the trampoline. Hopefully the sound is okay. My sniffly runny nose because it's kind of chilly out here isn't too gross listening to me rant on. We just cleaned up this area last week. Jeff laid fresh wood chips everywhere, so I'll walk over there and show you that. All right, I brought my dogs out. I do love my dogs. We have 3. Kita, the brown one, actually is my daughter's dog. Come on, guys. They like to be outside when I'm outside, but they like to be inside when I'm inside. So we'll let them out there. We have a little, like, fence around my vegetable garden area because I haven't trained my dogs to stay out of the vegetable gardens. So they aren't allowed in this next area, but I'm outside and close to them, so they're happy to be outside if I'm in this area. All right, let me turn you around. So this, oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness, my lemon is blooming. And it's supposed to be 34 tonight. So last year was my first year I got lemons off my lemon tree. Oh, I wish you guys could smell that. It's so fragrant. Here's the orange. I just got a few oranges, but we've got a bunch of lemons. I haven't noticed blooms on the orange tree yet. All right, so here I'll pan around so you can see my raised vegetable gardens. Because nematodes are really bad, I thought I should do some raised gardens. And I scatter my seeds. I don't just do rows and do everything neat. One of my old best friends, Trisha, did it. And so that's how I got lazy and just started just scattering seeds instead of doing rows. So you can see how thick everything is. I just planted these marigolds in the middle, kind of. The strawberries are blooming, so I have a couple strawberry blossoms. So maybe we'll get some strawberries. Definitely didn't get $1 worth of strawberries in each plant. And see, I just added some fresh rabbit manure. Thank you, Sam. And my husband dug up all of the Mexican sunflowers that used to be on the back side of these raised garden beds. And so we put them all along the back fence behind the trampoline back there. And hopefully they'll grow up and give us a little bit more privacy. Hopefully there's enough sun back there for the Mexican sunflowers. Or they just got too big to be in the vegetable garden. 3 years, they serve their purpose. There is a moringa my husband dug up accidentally, thinking it was just one of the Mexican sunflowers, because this time of year everything kind of looks the same, brown. So the arugula is bolting. Nothing special in this garden bed, raised beds, but this does look really pretty. My husband just put fresh mulch in all of this garden, and I planted a bunch of free plants that I got at the parking lot at one of those big box stores. The guy that was working said, "I don't see any plants." Because when I asked him, "What are you doing with those plants?" So I took that to mean I was welcome to as many as I wanted. So after about 5 minutes, my husband and I loading up the van of these free plants, and they're not pretty, but I'm hoping they'll bounce back and look pretty later. He yells out, "Don't take too many." My husband kind of laughed and said, "He doesn't know you're the gardening queen." So we did trim back the bananas that had already produced last year. They had produced like just in the early winter. And so we had left them, and then it got really hot last week or the week before. So we trimmed them down and added fresh mulch. Hopefully it doesn't freeze tonight and damage all that new growth. We did leave, the old frost damaged leaves on the ones that we left. But you can see new green growth on almost every one of our banana trees. So they all, they come back. And that papaya we covered, but I don't know what to do about disease. So I don't want to eat them because they look so gross. But I need to figure out an organic way of protecting these papayas so the disease doesn't do that. So they're just falling on the ground because I don't know, it's gross. I don't want to eat them. We buried a bunch of compost in front of this banana stand because it was really weak looking. Like the Raka bananas that we got last year was so pathetic on that stand. So we just buried a bunch of compost in front of it. We kind of like dug down and made like a pit, and then we filled the pit with all the banana branches and all the compost from the house. And so I need to remember to water this one more. The little one, it's a dwarf banana, and it's right by the like a rain spout, and it's right by the overflow valve for the pool. So that banana stand actually is doing really good. And whenever the dogs poop on the porch or in the house, I throw the dog poop on that stand, so that one gets fed. So that one's pretty happy. You can see on the ground there's a lot of brown. Those are the branches from the Mexican sunflowers. And even where the dogs are, there's a bunch of that on the ground still. So I still need to do some more cleanup. We haven't cleaned everything up yet. Along this fence line, I think a friend is going to plant a bunch of cucumbers. He's from, oh my goodness, I just stepped on something. A different country, and he really misses gardening. And so I said, you're welcome to come over here and garden all you want. I've been putting mulch along the fence for 3 years now, so it's going to be nice, rich soil. I don't have a lot growing along the fence. We didn't protect any of the papayas along the fence, so they'll probably come back, but they're not going to be that tall right away, Let's see what else. Yesterday, I took all the old dead vines off of my trellis. See, some are still laying on the ground. And this is the candlestick cassia. Lots and lots of seeds from that. It is a medicinal or a plant that you can use. Maybe a cinnamon replacement? I don't know. I've never used it. So I'm not 100% sure how to, but it's beautiful. So I like to grow it. I've got some mint. I don't remember. I think it's called apple mint. It's quite aggressive. It's a really big stand, but we like it. My daughter and my son make tea when they're here. Everything is really frostbite. This was, I think, an avocado tree that I had started from seed. It's still bendable, so I think it's alive. And then there's another one here. I think it was an avocado that I started from seed. It might have been a papaya I started from seed, honestly. I don't remember. And the leaves are very similar, especially when they're dead like that. 2 mangoes that I bought got some frost damage. I'm hoping they come back. That one, and these are the blackberries from Tina. They look great up here. And this is the other mango that we bought. It doesn't look the greatest. And then when I first moved here 3 years ago, I bought 4 different types of bamboo from a really nice bamboo nursery between here, Citrus County, and Orlando. So we stopped after I picked up my daughter from the airport. So I don't think the yellow bamboo, the Hawaiian bamboo, likes the cold, but it'll live. Same with the black bamboo over here. It doesn't like the cold. But it's come back every year so far. It'll live. It just doesn't look very good. Not compared to that big, giant, lush green one back there that didn't lose any leaves. The cold doesn't affect it at all. It's just this giant green mass that gives us lots of privacy. And there's the dogs. Hello, puppies. Those are my loves. Edmund and Faithy. Yes, and Kita's back there a little ways. They're my loves. But that's that giant bamboo. And my husband took the chainsaw to this row of citronella and Mexican sunflowers last week. So you can see it's already coming back up like 6 inches since when he cut it down with the chainsaw. It was like, oh, I think I recommended he do it, and he did it. So then I did it later because it's so much easier than trying to cut all that by hand. Kind of a pain to cut it by hand. I just propagated some sugar cane. Here's the sugar cane that I got 3 years ago from a friend. So I need to propagate that. I propagated that last year and gave half of it away, and then the other half I didn't water enough after I planted it out here. And this is the only one that lived. So I've got to propagate that one. This fence line, give me ideas. What do you think I should do with it? I've buried cassava along it. There's a little fruit tree. I don't remember what it is. Planted this. I got this at the first convergence I went to. So if anyone thinks they know what this is, let me know. The leaf is kind of soft. This is kind of high and dry. It's forgotten out here. So it hasn't gotten much love. And I threw a loofah out here. That's my way of reseeding the loofah. I don't know why I did that. It's so funny. Lots of cassava out here buried under the wood shrubs. I buried a bunch of mulberries out here also. Ouch. Ow. That hurt. Look at this avocado I just got this year. Full of little blooms. Look at that. Full of blooms. This is the fantastic. So Chris Edler, not Edler, sorry. Permaculture FX. Whatever Chris that is. Oh my gosh, I know so many Chris's. He recommended the fantastic, and so did Chris Lutz. So I think it's one of the 3 or 4 that I got this year. And this is a firebush, which looks totally dead, but it'll come back. And surprise, I could smell this. Sweet almond is blooming. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, I smelled it before I noticed its blooms, its blossoms. Gosh. You guys, it smells so heavenly. So good. Oh my gosh. So let's see. Up in this tree, coming up to right now, is a vine that I bought at the Master Gardener plant sale in Ocala 2 years ago. It's a passion vine, and it took over the tree. It was beautiful. It started blooming, but I didn't get any fruit from it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And here's my big, beautiful bamboo. I need to start eating or drinking bamboo tea. I guess the silica in it's really good for us. And yeah, I think that's the garden tour. I've got some more areas, and I've got some cactuses. I'll show you the cactuses. So people are always giving me cactuses, or I'm buying little starts. So that one's there, and then I just put a bunch of little ones along the fence. And what else? I've got Asian greens and arugula. I just scatter the seeds and they germinate wherever the seed lands. And so they're safe until Jeff starts mowing and weed eating. I should probably harvest them out of the yard before he starts. Oh, he's talking about mowing tomorrow, actually. Here's my nursery section. That's one of my nursery sections. I guess the greenhouse is also a nursery section. So this was my nursery before I had the greenhouse. I have all sorts of starts from Andy Firk. I think he said these ones were the or the mulberry from his place. I'm not sure if this was all mulberry. Some things didn't live. I do have some, like this is from the permaculture PDC course I took. Shelby gave me these. These are curry trees. This is something from Andy Firk. Not sure what it is. I'll have to ask Andy. This was from Andy Firk. And there's a couple. These are alive too from Andy Firk. So once they get bigger, I'll have to find out what they are. This was from Chris with Permaculture FX. And I just started weeding out this garden. So we're going to get this garden ready to plant with cucumbers, I think. Maybe I've not had any luck with cucumbers. And there's a lot of dollar weed in here. And some of the Bermuda grass is grown in there. More of the nursery section. Lots of lemongrass. But do you guys know what to do about my lemongrass? Look, it's all diseased. It's got this like rust all over it. See that? So I don't know what to do about the lemongrass. It used to be so beautiful, but it's not anymore. And I've got several baby moringas that once we know it's going to stay warm, I'll get them in the ground. And I have a couple figs. Look, I have a fig, at least one, that lived. So that fig was from Banks. And then this, I think mulberry might have been from Banks too. And that mulberry. No, yeah, mulberries. So I've got one fig that leafed out. I thought I had more than one fig. So I'm excited about the plants that I got from Banks. And there's just a few other odds and ends down here. That I think it's just an ornamental cactus. I don't know, but I thought it was cool, so I bought a couple. No lemongrass, a lot of empty pots because I planted all of these. So I got more pots. So it's time to up pot all of my tomatoes. I've got pots. I just need to go and buy some more compost and potting soil. One more section of the garden. Oh my goodness. I've already been rambling for 33 minutes. No one's going to watch this. That is too long. Well, I'm the gardening queen. I make a video once a month. Maybe I can divide it up into 3 sections. Part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't know. So this, it looks nice because we put fresh mulch on everything. The mulberries are leafing out. Let's see how green they are. Hopefully the 34 degrees tonight won't bother them. The papaya looks awful. We'll wait till after tonight before we trim him up. We did trim this one over on the front. Look at, I've got my wildflowers are way out here in the grass. Jeff says I'll have to dig them up and transplant them before he mows if I want to keep them. Just let the grass grow. Who needs to cut the grass? Uh-oh, I hear the neighbors mowing the lawn. So this papaya we cut way down, but it's still, ooh, that's not good. I need to cut it more because the rot will keep spreading, I guess. Bummer. There's a new tree that I got this last fall. That is Nikita's Gift Persimmon. So hopefully he lives. He didn't die in the cold. All right, get outside. I am barefoot. I don't know if you can see my feet. Ugh. Pound some dirt and get outside. Enjoy the outdoors.